Erin Coscarelli here. Women Crush Wednesday. This episode sponsored by Gym Plus Coffee. Love their clothing line. I pretty much live in it, to be honest. It's all about sustainability. And it's pretty rad, and their stuff looks cool. We have a super amazing female joining our Women Crush Wednesday today. Her name is Ekin Ozlen. And she is founder and CEO of a really cool hair company called Carousel. So we're going to learn all about that. Let me see if I can get her on. How do we? So you have to request me, Ekin. Hopefully we can get this situated because, technology is so fun. But she's really cool. She's super interesting. She is a model. There we go. Review. Okay. What? Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Amazing Raiders made the Pro Bowl. Congrats to my guy, Max Crosby. He is so legit. And there she is.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so honored. I'm taking this IG live from inside my car. I'm at a lunch.
I see that. I love it.
I'm at a lunch with my mom. Aww. And she can't ever move. She's pretty much rigid in her times. So she wasn't able to move lunch. So I was like, Mom, I got to step out. I've got an important IG live with my girl.
You're so cute, Erin. Thank you. I love it. Well, let me tell you, I'm having construction in my house right now. So I was going, where am I going to do this? Like in my closet. It's the only area that they haven't touched right now. I'm like living in my bathroom, my closet. Everything else is ripped apart in my house. So it's good that this is just close up and you don't have to see the destruction around me right now. It's insane.
Spoken like a true CEO. Whatever she needs to do, she makes it happen.
Keep going. That's right.
Keep going. And I appreciate that. And I'm so honored that I have the time with you. And so let's jump right in because, first of all, you're a model. You're obviously stunning. You're gorgeous. But what I love is that, you are taking your own experiences and you're putting it into a product called Carousel. And I just recently posted something that was so frustrating for me, which is a dry shampoo recall. Did you see that?
I did.
I'm like, it's so perfect timing to have someone like you on who really, I feel like, prioritizes what she puts in her products. And so tell us a little bit about your company because you are such a bad A CEO, and I love what you're doing, and I love what you're doing for other women.
Thank you.
And your life is you're so transparent with your story. So just tell us a little bit about your company first, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So I own a skincare and hair care brand called Carousel. It's all based on human stem cell extract technology. So every product is formulated with that as the base. And then we stack really powerful peptides on top of that. Super clean formulations. So everything that you're reading about really was very touching to me because I know how important it is what you're putting on when you're trusting a company and you're putting these products, even topically, on your skin and on your hair. You must know what the ingredients are doing and what that's causing. And I'm pregnant right now, so this has really been driven home even more for me because yes, I own a brand and I'm always conscientious of what we're putting in the products. But I used to get so many calls from pregnant women, even Kate Hudson, she grew her hair back and she was breastfeeding after she had shaved her head for a movie with our product line. And so I remember her asking me, like, is this safe during breastfeeding? And it's so important. I mean, not just when you're pregnant, but all the time to know what's in the products and to make sure that there aren't toxic ingredients because, there's this thing called greed and people are just doing what they do. They're manufacturing crap and we're buying it up and we're trusting and it's terrible. It's just, it's so unfair to the people who are going through these things. I hate hearing stories like that. It really means a lot to me that you shared that about your dad.
Yeah.
So sorry, Erin. Yeah.
Thank you. And I appreciate you use the word trust because I do think we trust. I mean, we expect that you put something on the shelf, it's safe for us to consume. And then, you have to sort of unravel that. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of, it's just sort of systemic and it's really frustrating to see, obviously with what my dad went through. I'm not blaming a particular brand. I'm just potentially associating the two, that he used a product that was recalled. And the product recalled the very thing that he ended up getting diagnosed with. I'm not suggesting anything other than just for me, the big thing I want to do is take my story on my dad's story and help teach other people to just become more aware and educate.
I love it.
And so the big thing I want to make sure I ask about you, because you have been, and I admire this so deeply about you, Ekin, you're so transparent with your story. And that's one of the things that I've been trying to work on is the things that I'm insecure about. Let's talk about them because, I have anxiety. I stress about a lot of things that maybe I should not do.
Totally.
And I think putting a face with the stress or putting a face with the anxiety, all of those things kind of helps other women and men maybe feel less alone. How did you know you had a story to tell? And what was the inspiration behind being really transparent and confident about the stuff you were going through?
God, that's such a great question that I've never been asked about this. You're talking about my whole IVF journey, right? And just putting it out there. I mean, I think when I really got into it and it was like, oh my God, this is so intense and this is so hard. And when I started Googling and putting, hashtags into Instagram and understanding the hordes of people that are also experiencing this, when I looked at that and I was like, my God, I have to give something to this. There's no way that I can keep this just to myself because I'm learning so much. And if this doesn't work, that was always in the back of my mind. If this doesn't work, at least I'm sharing this. And at least maybe this will help one person, and it's not just women, it's men. You can't believe how many men were DMing me, asking me questions for their wives. I mean, it was really fascinating. That really blew me away. And so once I started kind of just giving a little glimpse into what I was going through, I think that people realized I'm totally human. I am flawed and I experienced major challenges, between running my business and being pregnant and going through IVF and the pandemic. And this is a really difficult time for everyone. And I think the only thing that we can do is support one another. And thank you for being a woman that supports another woman. Hats off to you for that. I love that about you. You're amazing that you do this every Wednesday. I love it. So, it's just all we can do is be there for one another right now. Yeah. And that's the only thing that really brought me any peace throughout that.
And I love that because I think systemically, we talk about the system. I think systemically, perhaps women don't feel this natural desire to root for each other, which I think once you start to do it, it becomes contagious. Addictive. And then other women are like, wow, I so appreciate you seeing me.
And
I'm going to see someone. Good. And it feels so good because I think I want to be seen by my female community actually in more ways than I care about my male community. And
I'm guessing you have a ton of male followers as well, right? I have a ton of male followers. Believe it or not, I own a beauty brand, but I have a ton of male followers. So it's so interesting that they cared about my IVF journey. Right?
Yeah. And it's just nice. It's just nice to feel supported when you are putting out things that are rather vulnerable to you or personal to you. And I think when you can shine a big old light on things that make you insecure, then it doesn't own you as much. So let me ask you, how has this year been for you? Because, someone like you, obviously you do have a big following because you are so inspiring. You're someone that I feel like is a dream achiever. How was this year for you? And then also, I'm so curious, what are the things that you're working on heading into 2022? I can't believe we're already in 2022. It's crazy.
I know, it's insane.
But what are some of the things that you're going to try to manifest?
Right now, we've just aired an infomercial that we shot during the pandemic. We produced this infomercial, and I have never done this before. Everything is a first time for me, So I'm big on YouTube University. I'm figuring this out all the time, just trying to crack a nut to try to see what's on the inside every day of my life. But basically, we shot an infomercial, and we finally it's all edited. We actually aired it in San Francisco for the first time last Saturday at 10:30 in the morning. So I was really, really happy. ABC, thank you so much for that. Yeah, so that, getting into long form advertising though and kind of switching direct to consumer was really important for us because we were largely in major retail, Dillard's, Macy's.com. So they got hit hard during the pandemic. Nobody was going and, you couldn't use testers at a beauty counter anymore. So for us being a newer brand and such a high science brand, of course, people are going to want to put that on their hands and on their face, right? So that really handicapped us. So I just thought to myself, what can I do? I need to pivot right now. And it was really going straight direct to consumer for us. And it was just shooting commercials and infomercials. And now we're starting to air those nationwide. And it's like the fruits of our labor are finally coming to fruition. And it's just it's been such a learning process, and it was fun, but now I'm ready to like really see what happens with it, shoot the baby out and see.
I love that. Well, and it's so interesting because I feel like you're a go-getter. I'm sure you've had to have some doors whenever you're pursuing something that's worthy. You're not going to always hear it. Yes, this is a great idea. Like you have to be the one to persist behind it.
Oh yeah.
How have you, Ekin, how have you handled when the door has closed, or how have you handled rejection? Because for me, obviously, I work in an industry that says, first of all, my industry is incredibly subjective. One producer could love my work, and then the next producer could say, not so much. And for me, my job is always to go, I know how I feel about my own product.
Totally.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that requires some inner strength.
That's how I have to be.
And inner work.
Similar. Yeah.
How do you navigate that?
I mean, listen, I deal with rejection all the time, and I think my career as a model for Ford for all those years in New York, I kind of just let it roll off my back, because I'm like what you just said. I'm like, yeah, all right, next. You obviously don't get what I'm doing here. You don't get the project. Like, I'm moving on. I just kind of keep it moving. So it's there's so much life out there to live, right? And we have this one chance right now. One life. That's what we have. And so for me, that is really how every day I wake up and I just say, what can I do to make this business better? How can I blow this up? I have this little baby brand and I believe so much in it. And yeah, rejection is what it is, but you got to just keep powering through. I mean, and I really take it back to my modeling years, that I would get rejected all the time as an actress, as a model, as a singer. Like, are you kidding? It's constant. You know how this is. It's just it's the industry. It's like there's so many people. It's so saturated doing the same thing. So you really have to find what it is about yourself that's unique or that's different. And that thing that's going to separate you, the defining factor. And I think that that crosses over into building a brand. Like, what is it about my brand that's better than everybody else's out there? It's another, unfortunately, I landed in another super saturated industry, but I use the same basically protocol. Like, how do I make myself different in this saturated beauty industry? Yeah.
That is so interesting, because that was a question that I was going to ask you, because I am so curious. Obviously, for many years, you're basically an expert in the beauty industry because you've been raised in it essentially as a very successful model. How do you attack an industry that is so saturated? Like, what makes it stand out, if that makes sense?
The science, the technology, and the formulations. The formulations, the cleanliness of the formulations, the ingredients, but really it's so results driven. I mean, every single product that we put out, if it's not changing your skin or hair right away, then why are you going to keep using it? So for me, it's like results. I always wanted results. And I mean, I spent endless amounts of money. All the money that I made as a model, I put back in basically buying stuff to make my skin and hair better, just to separate me and give me that edge in a super saturated industry. And so for me, it was always like, what product's going to work? And if it doesn't work, next, and that I've really built the brand around results driven products, especially when it comes to skin and hair loss. When people start seeing right away, like, oh my God, I use the shampoo. You can't believe how many emails and messages I get. It's beautiful. People are going, this has totally changed my life. Like, my hair is full almost immediately. I love it. I live for that. It's the reward in what I do, actually giving people what a brand promises. It's such a rarity these days. And so I really focus on that.
Well, and I think also too, you have real women to stand by. We're not, like, I probably won't invest in a product that's sold by like a 20-year-old because they don't have the issues that we have. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in my mid-30s, so I want something that works for me. So you probably have like real women utilizing your product, and that feels for me authentic. And I think this industry and the world we live in right now, we want authenticity. We don't want this,
Absolutely. And I live in LA, so it's like
Same.
I'm filled with like this whole. But I'm an East Coast girl. I'm from New York, so I bring that mentality, and it's what you're talking about, that authenticity. It's like you shoot straight, you say what you mean, and that's really what the brand. If you read the brand's, any of the verbiage, it's all written by me, and that's exactly what it says. Yeah. So
I love that. I love that. So if people are watching that are interested, one of the questions that I had for you was, where did you get your entrepreneurial spirit from? You just mentioned that you're from the East Coast. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but for women that are looking to make a dent in being an entrepreneur, where did you get that from? How do you harness it?
I think for me, it really started out of, ambition. I was always extremely ambitious, like even as a model. I never wanted to be subpar. And I think that was such a challenging industry to navigate through. And it was so competitive. And I think that's what really lit the fire. It's like you get a couple campaigns and you get you're doing good and you feel success and you feel a reward from that. And then that becomes addictive. And then it kind of crosses over into everything in your life. I started riding horses competitively. Like I got, it bleeds over. And when I started this brand, even with my music, and then I started this brand, and I think it just kind of bled over into all of that. I mean, I've always been pretty ambitious, but I think, I like nice things like everybody else in the world, and nobody's going to give you this stuff. And if they do, there's always some kind of like caveat. You got to go out there, ladies, and you got to get this yourself. And I learned that the really hard way. My husband passed away. He was a plastic surgeon. There was a lot of things that happened in my life that were kind of a lot bigger than what I'm saying right now. I'm giving you the simplistic version, the Cliff Notes version. But there were a lot of things that happened in my life that sort of forced me to go, okay, if these are the things that I want in my life, and these are the things that I want to provide for my family and my child, then I need to go out there and I need to get these things myself. And I think really, in all honesty, yes, I had that ambition, but it was really that. Going out and figuring it out on my own. Yeah. And then feeling that it was working, getting that little glimmer of, I remember my partner saying, like, she said, I was a duck in water when I first started in the beauty industry. Like, it just literally, when it's right, it's just right. And you feel it. There's this momentum. And your passion is being put in the right place. I mean, it's a beautiful feeling. And I think like I got addicted to that.
Yeah. Well, and I think thank you for sharing that and being so open in your story. And yeah, we're probably just touching the very tip of the iceberg. But I think for women, we can do it. I think sometimes we've been conditioned that we're afraid of failure or that it might be harder for us. And so, for a lot of times, I was renovating my house and a contractor would come over and the contractor would be like, okay, so, where's the guy that I'm supposed to be talking to, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I'm going through that right now.
That's so cute. That's so cute. I'm so sorry. It's me, like I'm the one
paying. Yeah.
Yeah. But it happens so often for women, which is frustrating because it requires us to do the work that maybe other people don't have that capability in understanding that women are very strong and able to come up with business concepts that are quite successful, might I add. So
we're incredible multitaskers. Like being pregnant, and I don't even have the baby yet, and I'm already like, wow, how am I going to do all this? But it's you just figure it out, and women are incredible that way. I mean, I love my husband, but I feel like I run circles around that boy. Like I'm doing this, I'm on the phone, doing that. I got this plan, I got this going on, like, and he's mad focused on one thing, and he's doing it really well, and amen for that. But I'm like, it's a funny thing,
and it's a gift. It's a gift that we have because we are able to kind of, I would say, have like dual try focus, if that makes sense. And it's going to happen even more when you have your baby. I know I've exceeded my time with you. Last question, I promise, but it's the question I always like to ask women like you who are entrepreneurs is, how do you prioritize your self-care? You're obviously, like we just talked about, this is the perfect question to have at the end. You are navigating so many different things. Yeah. You are in charge of so many projects and people and the family. How do you prioritize Ekin?
I mean, I think, bubble baths, hot tea right now. It's like it used to be a glass of wine and like going out and, I love to dance. I love to go out. I love music. Now it's like, okay, I'm pregnant. How do I do nice things for myself? I used to I love my jacuzzi. I can't do that anymore. When you're pregnant, everything changes. You can't do the stuff you used to do.
No more sushi.
To release. Yeah. So
I know you love sushi. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm probably not doing the greatest job at that, quite honestly, right now. But I'm trying. I'll get back to it. I think with everything, all the moving pieces right now, the holidays, the pandemic, construction in my house, like being pregnant, and I'm 7 months pregnant. So it's like I have 10 weeks of this left. And every morning I'm like, all right, today I'm going to eat just like vegetables and fruit and be super healthy. And like, it's like, no, I really want that cake for breakfast. It's like, it's just, it's a work in progress. Yeah.
Well, you do you, and I think you're such a gift to all of us because you do live such an honest, transparent journey that I think is noticeable. And we look up to women like you. So keep doing amazing, incredible things. How can people learn more about Carousel?
Yes, so carousel.com, and I actually have a special hashtag code for you and all of your friends. It's hashtag gifts, and they can get buy two, get one free on everything site-wide right now.
And what an amazing Christmas gift to give the woman in your life, or maybe men, but for sure women, because we like our full hair.
Men love this product. Yeah, absolutely. The hair system. Oh, yeah. Awesome. So carousel.com with a K, KERACEL.com. Just put the code in hashtag gifts and you'll get buy two, get one free.
And we'll post it here too, so everybody can make sure to check out this amazing offer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erin. This was such a blast. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays, Ekin. All right.
Enjoy your mother.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.